Days before the end of the sixth administration of government, 2 new bills have been signed into law. The National Council on GBV and Femicide Bill is expected to strengthen the fight against gender-based violence, while the National Prosecuting Authority Amendment Bill will see a permanent unit set up to investigate high-profile corruption. President Cyril Ramaphosa signed the new legislation at the Union buildings today, just over a week after signing the National Health Insurance Bill. Newzroom Afrika's Karinda Jagmohan reports.
In 2018, thousands of women descended on the Union buildings, demanding action against gender-based violence.
Only reason they left the Union buildings that night was a firm undertaking from me and the government that we are going to pay much more serious attention to the concerns that they were raising.
A series of summits were then hosted countrywide for survivors of abuse to share their pain and demand urgent action from those responsible for safety in the country.
I recall very clearly when one of the women, when we held the first summit, they made me sit right in the front, as I always do, and she went to the stage, and in describing the hurt and the injuries that she had sustained, she even undressed in public. And it was not so much to make a spectacle, it was much more to demonstrate what gender-based violence does to the women of our country. And I can tell you that the message sunk in.
Now the National Council on GBV and Femicide Bill will see the formation of a board mostly made up of women who will create an inclusive plan to combat and prevent gender-based violence. But while the bill is being celebrated by government, activists are eyeing its implementation.
An educational program, specifically in schools, even to communities, it needs to be tackled. And I think information needs to be dispersed and disseminated in a way that people actually have access to it. So are we really humanizing the person who's been through something so dehumanizing?
Yeah.
So those are the kind of things we're looking for, especially when you make a claim that says this is a multifaceted, multi-sectoral approach. It needs to involve all of that then.
Meanwhile, a second separate bill signed on Friday will see a permanent structure in the NPA to investigate high-profile corruption cases.
The investigating directorate as it existed was unable, it didn't have critical criminal investigative powers, police powers. And because it was, in a sense, a temporary, it could have been, by proclamation ended at any point. We were not able to have a permanent structure and really recruit all of the different types of disciplines that we need. So with a permanent entity, we're able to really capacitate a permanent structure.
The resourcing of this entity will get underway over the coming months, while Parliament is now expected to appoint board members for the National Council on GBV and Femicide. For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Karinda Jagmohan in Pretoria.